Dan Ullman, Mike Buer taking a look back at an important Kentucky Derby prep race. This, the Sam F. Davis Stakes, a Grade 3 at Tampa Bay Downs on February the 8th. We're going a mile and a 16th. All eyes on the number 4, Independence Hall, as they break from the gate. He's the number 4. He's going for his 4th consecutive victory. He's 7-10, and boy, did he break sharp.
He broke very alertly in this race, and I like what his rider does, Jose Ortiz does in this race, Dan, because they're going to his outside. They want the lead. He's just going to let those horses go, take this horse in hand, and he's close to a fast pace, but he's very comfortable tracking it.
He certainly is. They are going very fast. Chapaloo, Premier Star are just cooking. Independence Hall wants to go. He's tugging a little bit right now under Jose Ortiz, but he is sitting in a comfortable position in 3rd, and right now it is a mile back to everybody else, including the number 2, Solo Volante, who's saving ground.
Yeah, he's saving ground well back off the pace at this stage of the game. It's going to be interesting to watch coming up right about now, Dan. They're going to enter this far turn, and you're going to see Solo Volante all of a sudden show up in your picture. This is the same thing he did in his dirt debut in the Mucho Macho Man. He made a strong run around the turn. He couldn't get to the leaders that day. He gets to the leaders this day.
We see Jose Ortiz looking around. He knows that the 6 and 8 are going to be tired from their early efforts, and he's just trying to gauge, when should I go? And he decides he's going to go right now, and I think it's the right move. He took a peek behind him. He saw Solo Volante coming, and he's now taking the lead. Nice to see Solo Volante and Luca Panici sort of weave his way inside, then outside, and now he's going to go after Independence Hall, and the battle is joined.
Yeah, this is a very nice stretch battle for these two horses. Solo Volante just has all the momentum on the outside. And again, this time he's going to get to the horse on the lead and he's going to keep going. This is another nice performance. This horse has run twice on dirt. He's run well both times. I don't want to take too much away from Independence Hall here, Dan. He runs well, but he's no match for this horse the final 16th
He
of a mile.
fought him right to the 16th pole, and then Solo Volante got the better of him and was getting away. 2 good performances, 2 fast races. Solo Volante earned a 96 Beyer speed figure. Son of Breeders' Cup Mile winner Caraconti. And if you just look at the face of this pedigree, Caraconti out of a King Mambo mare, you were thinking turf. And this horse has run very well on turf in his short career. But he's also a half to a horse named Explode, who won the Canadian Derby by disqualification at a 1.25 miles on dirt. A horse that only sold for $6,000 as a yearling, then $20,000 as a 2-year-old. He is a gelding. You mentioned the race prior, the Mucho Macho Man inside mid-move, flattened out just a bit. But he has now run 2 very fast races in a row, 95, 96. A lot of folks are going to be saying, come on, Mike, he couldn't have gotten a better pace scenario, and he got a beautiful ride in this race, but something tells me he's a lot better than we originally gave him credit for.
It's very true that he had a perfect trip in this race. He got the run of the race, making the move around the turn, and then carrying it on through the stretch. But this horse has run, this isn't the only race he's ever run. He's run 4 times, 2 on turf, 2 on dirt. He's run well in all 4 of them. This horse can run.
I've read a couple of opinions on Independence Hall. The strongest opinion I've read on social media is that this horse deserves extra points. He's up close to this blistering pace. He's the only part of the pace there at the end. The horses that were dueling on the lead finished 6th and 7th, beaten a zillion lengths, and this horse is battling it out. And I've also read that, listen, this horse had a perfect trip by himself off of 2 speed horses. He made the first run into the pace, and at 3 to 5, he didn't get it done.
Listen, I don't know if I would argue too hard for either side. I'd probably fall somewhere in the middle of it because he was close to a very strong pace in this race. But all in all, I liked the trip that he got. I liked the ride that he got. I liked the move that he made around the second turn. And he just got run over by a very sharp horse in the stretch. He ran fine in this race. It didn't blow me away. It didn't make me, go all in and want to bet him wherever he shows up next. I thought he ran fine in this race. He's a nice horse.
But for his first race around 2 turns, I think it's a nice step forward if they decide to go to a race like the Tampa Bay Derby. That's where Solo Volante, it appears, will go next. It's the logical next step on March the 7th. Let's talk about Ajaweed, the 3-1 second choice in this race. Ajaweed, of course, second in the Remsen and making his first start as a 3-year-old. I think you could look at it and say, well, he got beat 14 lengths. He's off the trail. I wouldn't look at it that way at all. I think he was stunned at the amount of speed in this race. He fell way, way back, and okay, he clunked up to finish 3rd. Something tells me that he wasn't completely cranked for this race.
We'll see what happens. He's a really tough call right now because they've now run him in 3 graded stakes races, and he did run well in the Remsen. The other 2, he did not run well in those races. And I don't know what to say about this performance, Dan. I hear what you're saying. Maybe he just got out sprinted and just showed no interest. But I mean, he never made any kind of a move. The pace was so fast, he never made any move into it. He was third, but he was third beating a million lengths without making a run. This was a very disappointing performance.
Now I'll play devil's advocate. I mentioned one of the reasons why you might want to follow Ajaweed's second time was his first off the layoff. He was outrun early. He only finished ahead of Tiz Right Time by a neck. Tiz Right Time tried to run with Solo Volante on the turn. He actually made, for a 54-to-1 shot, a very strong mid-race move before the class of the other horses finally took its toll on Tiz Right Time. I wonder if maybe that's sort of a knock against Ajaweed. He only was able to outfinish Tiz Right Time. Tiz Right Time had the worst trip.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. Ajaweed, listen, he was third in this race. He was a very disappointing third. Now the question, wherever he shows up next, and maybe he does get another shot on the trail, do you sort of look at him based on this race? Do you base it on the Remsen, where he actually ran really well in the Remsen? Is he somewhere in between? I don't know how you really judge him. I guess we'll see what he does next time, and that's going to be the decider.
The longer distances might work to his favor, stretching out to a mile and an eighth. I'm curious as to what Jorge Navarro said to John Velasquez after this race, when Premier Star, stretching out for the first time, ended up getting hooked with Chapalu, making his first start since October, and then they just go 46-2 to the half. Now maybe Premier Star doesn't win if he sits off of that horse. Maybe Premier Star just was not unwilling to sit, and he was just pulling in the early portion of that race. But he deserves a mulligan wherever he runs next time. I mean, come on, that trip's never going to work out for him going two turns against these kind of horses.
Probably true. It's worth noting that he was the first to back out of that race.
That is true.
Chapalu finished last in this race, but he didn't crack as early as Premier Star did. I don't know what it says about either of them, Dan. To me, they were kind of both long shots to win this race, even though Premier Star was only 6-1. I thought they were both long shots. Neither one of them, even with the pace factored in, they didn't really run that well.
Top two horses ran very well, however. Solo Volante sustaining a prolonged run into that fast pace and finishing off the odds-on favorite. Independence all close to that fast pace, attacking and fighting down to the 16th. And we'll see what we get from Ajaweed. If he can take a big step forward, second off the layoff for Kieran McLaughlin. This MF Davis might prove to be an underrated key race on the road to the Kentucky Derby.